Hey, let's take care of a shave. Knurled handle of my Timeless. And this is the Timeless with a 68 gap. And it is open comb, as you can see, the teeth there. It's already got my Nacet blade loaded in. And this is the 168th shave. There's the dot situation, and my current group of 10 is over here. 168 is today. And I'll show you the blade in just a second. I've already gotten this guy wet. This is a Stirling Finest Badger. And it is a 2-band knot. And that usually means it's got pretty good medium to strong backbone. But still, it can have soft tips if they've been treated or things like that. And this indeed does have nice soft tips. It's very dense though. I'm hoping it opens up a little bit more, reduces a little bit of that density by splaying out some more, because I like mine a little less backbony than it currently is, but it's still doing pretty good. All right, the soap for today is one I've kind of had my eye on for a while, but in a strange way. Chiseled Face teamed up with Zoologist Fragrance House and came up with a series. I know there were other ones other than this one, Civet. I've got Rhino, tremendous. I really like that one. There's one called Nightingale, Panda. Panda was an Asian inspired one. Nightingale had some feminine tones to it, so I didn't even bother trying that one. I think Nightingale might be the most recent one. And I think there is probably a couple others, but very glad to be able to try this one. I got it in a used lot that I purchased. It's got this super sturdy glass jar. I mean, holy cow, this thing, you know, it's hefty and high quality. And this one hasn't been used very much. And as you might expect, if you know much about the fragrance industry, this is a very musky scent, and I consider it kind of nice to be able to almost educate me and educate my nose about what that musk genre smells like, so maybe I can pick it up a little easier in other scents. It's a very high scent, very piercing, pungent, if you will, and I've smelled that in other scents. And according to the write-up of this one, this type of component was used historically in a lot of different colognes and perfumes. It's backed off a little bit in some of the ones of today in favor of more citrus and aquatics and some of those other ones, but it's still definitely in use. So let's see, I believe 322 by Katie's Bubbles has vetiver and probably some of this type of musk in it. Pretty sure my, I would think my fine accoutrements, sandalwood, the Santal Absolute, seems to have some sort of musk added to the sandalwood, and I really enjoy it. Tobacco has got to have some of that, right? At least it seems like it. So anyway, I'm looking forward. I know the performance is going to be great because Chiseled Face is just a quality soap. It may not be uber top tier, but I don't really need all those post-shave benefits that a lot of the top tier stuff kind of has. And so this is a soap, and I like that. All right. Don't quite know what I'll use for post-shave yet. So put a little splash of water on my face. And that concludes my pre-shave routine. That's just the way I do it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right for everybody, but I like it. Okay, so let's show you the razor blade right quick, just to make sure you know that I'm not trying to deceive anybody. Okay, so there's my Nacet. That's the bottom side. You can see over here it's got the little half of the X that I made last year, and I've been using this blade ever since. And of course not consecutively, but frequently. And we'll, well, you know what, just for continuity, I'll show you that X, and then I'll put it in there on, but I'm going to be pausing it later, so, you know, if you don't trust me, then I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, right? Okay, and I love Timeless. They put a nice bow in the blade, and this geometry just seems to be working for this Nacet and my skin. I'm not saying Nacet is, you're going to be able to go 160 something shaves with it. You might. Another blade. Friend of mine, just an online friend, fellow shaver, just hit 100 on a somebody. I think he did it previously on a Gillette Silver Blue, and then again just a day or two ago did it with a Gillette 7 o'clock. It's the green packaging probably, and the words were super stainless on that one. And so I've heard of people doing it with feathers and Pole Silvers and Gillette Platinums, you know, the whole spectrum. So it's not just a certain type of blade that can get you this many uses. And let us now take the brush, shake most of the water out of it. I do have hard water, so this soap does fine with hard water. I know that the Chiseled Face base does. Shake most of the water out. And then we'll do a 30-second lather. Oh, 30-second rounds out right there, 30. So we will work on this until the 0 mark. Just medium pressure. And that's something you can vary once you establish your own process as well. Some people like to be really easy on the tips and maybe load for longer. You know, just find out what works best for you. And there we go, that's 30 seconds. And that's what 30 seconds of lather looks like. And this is a dense Badger brush. I'm going to pause you while I rinse off the jar here. All right, now we'll take the brush, go right to the bowl. I use tepid water for all my stuff. I don't like waiting on the hot. And also I don't like trying to keep the lather warm, you know, with a scuttle with a bowl that's too small, or, you know, I don't like having a sink full of water because I have small children and who knows what they've done in this sink. And plus, you know, if you have a sink full of water that you rinse your razor in, I mean, that's fine for some people, but for me that adds more work because that soap scum sticks to the side of the sink and all that. In addition, I tried one time to, what I did was I plugged up the sink, and then I did my normal shave by rinsing the blade like I usually do, and I actually used up less water. I didn't quite fill the sink up with all the water that I used, and so then I know that I'm not wasting, it's not a waste of water for me to rinse. Other people may rinse more than me, and so it may be different, but I'm going to stick a teaspoon of water in there. It's not, there's not a lot of lather right now being developed, but I'm sure that's going to change. And if it doesn't, we can always go back to the tub. Let's put another teaspoon in. Pretty sure it's going to need that much even if I have to go back to the tub. Yeah, it sure is not looking like much. Maybe this puck is just a little bit old, and so I kind of need to break through kind of a glazed over surface or something like that. There we go, we're getting some more. Just for grins, I think I will go back to the puck and better to err on the I'm going to put a little water in the puck just to kind of help the brush to soak up some of the lather. And let's just go for 10 seconds or so. There we go. right. And again, let me rinse the jar. Okay, back to mixing. That's looking better. Put another ½ teaspoon of water in there. Oh yeah, that's nice. That'll do. Another half. We've got 3 teaspoons in there now. So 40-second low basically is what we're dealing with. I like this long handle because for the most part my fingers are staying out of the soap. Makes it easier to stay hold of the brush. Lather's looking good. Feel of it here. Nice. Kind of a watery slickness. I'm not feeling too much in terms of buttery slickness or anything like that. So it's possible I may have added too much water. It looks nice, but that doesn't. This one may be a soap that needs a higher structure, aka to be a little drier than I like it to be. So let's see what the viscosity looks like right now. Big old blob there. Yeah, okay, now in many cases that's what I want. I want that nice elasticity. So what I'm going to try, I'm going to put it on my face now. We'll see if maybe it's a little too thin. I can always go back to the puck and thicken it up a little bit. Alright, so throw a little bit of water on. Since I think it's too thin, you know what? I'm going to change my tactic a little bit. Leave my face kind of dry. My beard is thicker than usual. Almost 2 days worth of growth. Probably a day and 17 hours or something like that. So I have more beard on today than usual. Be interesting to see how the Nacet does it with other razors. It would tug quite a bit to where I didn't usually enjoy the second day. All right, here we go. A little tuggy, not too bad. Not too bad at all, really. It is a little thin. The lather. Alright, rinse this off. Alright, I did another 10 seconds in the soap to cream it up a little bit more. So let's see if we get a little bit better lather this time. First one was still serviceable, so just goes to show you how even a thin lather can do the job just fine. Just switch to the painting motions. Yeah, this one's different. Thicker. So it looks like I just took it previously a little too far. That's all right. We fixed it. Cross grain now. As always, pass number 2 is comfortable, no problem at all. So that civet, though, the musk is not super strong with this lather. It's there, it's very manly, but it's not strong. And there we go, second pass. The length of my hair on that first pass was, after it was definitely more than usual because there was just more to work with. And so it took the second pass had to deal with a little bit more hair than usual, but I think it's going to work out just fine. All right, not too much to rinse off there. Not really a creamy feel or anything like that. You know, Stirling is a little nicer in terms of that. That tallow feel, the creaminess. But what Chiseled face may lack in creamy slickness and feel, it makes up for in the scent choices that they bring to the table. Midnight Stag and Sherlock are just tremendous, in my opinion. Sherlock is more universally loved. Midnight Stag is an acquired taste for sure. They have a tea scent and an orange and spice scent. An aquatic they have, like Trade Winds. But I like their barbershop too. Ghost Town Barber. That's a wonderful, little kind of a warm, spicy twist on a barbershop scent. Excuse me. Oh, and then there's one that's just pine tar. One called Gearhead with oil and notes like that. I'm resisting the temptation to try to dig and press harder to try to get those hairs. Just gonna keep it light. I don't go against the grain because my skin just can't handle it, but a lot of people can, so just wanted to make that known in case you're a new person watching. And rinse after the third pass. Alright, so now we're going to do a touch-up pass in that neck area that so often gives me grief. Let's just do the whole neck, kind of evaluating this lather. And I am putting it on dry skin, so that's going to thicken up the lather just a little bit more. Could be that this particular formulation needs me to run it a lot drier than I usually do for a creamy feel. So kind of a cross grain pattern here. And I don't go all the way down. For some reason with me right along the edge there, it can give me irritation, and so I hit that with one coming from the bottom up. It was just kind of a trial and error learning process to figure that out. Alright, now I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom here, all the way around. Okay, then what's left here, this is my trouble spot. Have to be strategic. I want to pull the skin just a little bit to kind of tighten it up. and then I'm going to switch. Previously, I've done a cross grain coming from here and going down this way. I'm going to switch, and this is what I have to do. You may not have to do this sort of thing, but if you have swirls or changes in direction, then you might. I'm just taking it very lightly as usual, and I'm almost to the end. So I'm going to watch because I get some swirls over this way that could get irritated. All right, I'm going to check that out. Be right back. So that's still a good shave, pretty good shave today. A little bit of length of hair on a few places, but to me, that's all right. Especially considered the amount of hair I was starting with. Let's see, cheek feels terrific. Yeah, they feel great. Other side of the neck is always nice, just the way it is. And I used 3 teaspoons, and then that was a 50 seconds in the soap because I had to go back twice to increase my lather density. So I'll make a note of that. Hopefully I read that before I use this next time. I've got enough soap for another maybe 2 passes. But this is, see, that's a lot different than what I showed you earlier. That just came off in one little blob, not really lengthy peaks. So this is drier than I usually like mine, and I'll have to remember that in the future. I might be curious if I loaded the water a little more slowly to see if maybe it was a little less airy, because you could look at the thin part in the on the walls there and see some tiny bubbles, and so it could be that could be a process issue where I need to add water more slowly, something like that. Who knows? All right, well, it was a good shave. The scent was actually very light, and so it's not obnoxious at all, to me at least. And so it's a manly, almost a basal cologne, rudimentary cologne type scent. I believe I looked, and there are actually a lot of components to this one, but they're really kind of muted and behind the muskiness, and just a nice manly scent is what's coming through. Definitely the musk, but you can tell it's being evened out by some other components. If you look in the description, I will have those other components listed in the soap area, so you can read about those if you don't want to do your own Googling for the scent. Wow, I expected it to be a lot sharper based on what I was getting from smelling the tub, but it's very even keeled. I don't think anybody would be offended by this at all. So even though I think the Civet stuff comes from either some weird process regarding the animal, or is it their urine? I don't know. It's weird, but you can't tell it from the scent. It just smells nice, and it's not obnoxious. If scent level maybe 4, 3, somewhere around there. If it was maybe in the 7 area, I could see that would be an acquired taste, but this is just a nice, enjoyable, manly scent. It's not invigorating like a citrus might be. It's not smooth and sweet, like like something with more amber or something like that in it might be. So pretty cool. I like it. I really like it. I'll check this lather out more, because there are definitely other soaps that perform a little better. That's the only weakness right now that I can see with this guy. This lather was nice in this brush. I think the brush performed really well today. It gave it was a little hard to, a little more difficult than average to splay. Definitely more difficult than the silver tips and stuff that I have. Just going to show it to you. Doing a little bit of cleaning and rinsing here. With these dense brushes, you do have to clean it, make sure you clean them really well. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll sling it out in the sink, and then if there's any soap, a lot of times it'll come out, show itself right there. So we'll just drop it on the towel a little bit. You can kind of see what he looks like before the shave. And his tips do sometimes get a little crispy. Yeah, we've still got a little, I still need to do a little bit of rinsing. You can see right there, there's some, but there he is. His tips are getting a little crispy, and so I think that lends their ultra softness when you're using it. So I'm happy with this guy so far, and this CravingShaving handle is very enjoyable. I like that a lot. Ergonomic, oh yeah, excellent. All right, so I used 3 teaspoons of water. I had about 2 passes left of lather. And let's see, what do I feel like today? I feel like this Tuscany. I feel like that might go with the musky, because this is kind of a wild cherry scent. So this is a Stirling balm. Stirling also makes the alcohol splashes. This does not have alcohol in it. If you have dry skin, then something like this is going to be more your line, or maybe some kind of toner or witch hazel type item. There we go. Very nice. No irritation even before I put the balm on. No weepers or anything like that. Very comfortable shave. So, and now let me, with this Tuscany kind of on me, I think that's kind of a neat twist. Kind of a musky, wild cherry, almost. I think that's neat. May not be a perfect combo, but I think it's neat. All right, well, I'm going to clean up, and I'll be back in just a second. So, this brush, this Stirling Finest Badger, I could definitely recommend it and continue recommending it for just about anybody, veterans alike, as well as new guys, because I think new folks, I think it does a great job of being walking a middle line between something that has the backbone that a lot of people enjoy, but also soft tips, and then that can, using this as a benchmark, you can tell somebody or communicate with people about it. And if you think maybe you'd like a little bit more splay, then you might lean more toward a silver tip. And there are plenty of inexpensive silver tips out there, as well as some expensive ones. But then you can just work from there. And in the meanwhile, I think it's a very, very good brush at a great price. I smashed the handle out of mine just to get it out of that knot, because I didn't like the ergonomics of the handle it came in. And so I like this one a lot better. Just glued it in with silicone, all there is to it. And so its competitors are the Elite Razors Manchurian that I have. I think it's got a little bit less backbone, and I enjoy that. Tips aren't quite as soft as that, but because of the backbone, I think it kind of offsets it nicely. And I think I like that one a little bit better as of now. And then the other one is a Maggard's Super High Density. That's just a recent knot that has come out. And it's kind of similar. I think it's like this one. It's got the tips that are more soft, like this Stirling Finest, softer than the Elite Razor Manchurian, but it has a little bit less backbone. And so to me, it's a little better version of this Stirling Finest. And it costs a little bit more, so in a sense you're getting what you pay for. But they're both terrific knots. I'll keep this guy around. Who knows, my desires may change, and I might like this one a little bit more, you know, something like that. So happy with the soap. I really enjoyed the scent a lot more than I thought, and the performance was a little disillusioning. As I mentioned earlier, it's not quite as nice as a good many of the soaps out there. Regarding just the feel, the slick feel. However, it rinses quickly, so there's that, if that's important to you. The razor, I think it did a good amount of protection. You know, it protected properly. It's just that there are a lot of soaps out there, Stirling included, and some of the others that I think probably feel a little bit better and protect just a little better. But we're talking about the end of the spectrum there, the good stuff. And then of course there's, you know, ones on past Stirling, like Barrister and Man and Noble Otter and Holy Cow and Declaration Grooming and all that. But you know, and so I can see why maybe Chiseled Face has backed off a little bit in terms of popularity in some sense, but it's still a good soap. Gives enjoyable shaves, and I will be around with that brand for a while because of their awesome scent choices, manly scent choices that I really enjoy and have enjoyed for a few years now. The razor did fine. Happy with that. So 168 shaves now with the Nacet. So in a couple days we'll hit another decade landmark. All right, well, there we go. I hope there was something here for you. Sugar Daddy Shaves here. You take care. Have a good day.